Okay, well, welcome back to the next of the 67 step reviews. The 67 different rules, principles, and frameworks you must adopt to live the good life. Specifically, that's you optimizing your wealth, your love life, happiness, and your health. And do not be confused. The answers to your life's problems are not within, they are without. Great ideas come from people who have succeeded significantly before you. And this is review of step number 51, and it was called Chatting with Wittgenstein's Lion, the Power and Effectiveness of Language. And Wittgenstein was an Austrian philosopher who is famous for saying, if a lion could speak, we wouldn't understand him. And this is because a lion's ideas, its interpretation of the world, are not human. So the words that they would say would be meaningless because they would be out of context to your life. And some people give words too much importance. They'll say, don't say anything bad could happen because you may put a hex on yourself and cause it to happen. The other extreme is people who shout off at the mouth with sloppy language and think that words are not important whatsoever. And again, we want to avoid extremes. Those are two extremes, and the answer is usually somewhere in the middle. Sometimes the words you're saying are extremely important. Sometimes you're giving them more importance than you should be. And the reason we're talking about language and communication is because being understood is fundamental to persuasion. And you know, Tai has this quote that I love a lot called, or where he says, a confused mind doesn't buy. And that he was particularly using that to explain if you're in business and you're trying to persuade someone to buy something or take action, you, as best you can, you need to make sure that they understand what it is you're trying to get them to buy. Because if the person's confused at what you're selling, most likely they're not going to purchase. And 80% of communication is nonverbal. Oftentimes people don't focus on what you say, but they focus on the posture in which you say it. You know, Tai gives this story of a business partner of his that was communicating with some of their clients, and Tai asked him repeatedly if he could add Tai to the email thread so that Tai could correct any errors and help shepherd the people to where he and his business partner needed to go. But unfortunately, Tai realized that he wasn't communicating clearly enough to his business partner, because no matter how many times he asked to be added to that email thread, his business partner didn't add him because somehow he didn't understand the importance of it. And, you know, the challenge is our brains can't learn every single language in the world. And a word you don't know in your own language is equally as unintelligible as a word in a foreign language. I've run into people who are business people who, you know, are selling something and they can't explain what they're selling to me in one sentence. So I don't end up buying it because it's confusing. You know, Tai has this great way of distilling down your complicated idea so that it can be understood. And he likes to ask himself, could my 95-year-old grandmother understand what I'm explaining? Could she understand this product? If the answer is no, she wouldn't understand it, you don't really understand your product, and you need to work on your pitch better to get it so that he or she at 95 years old could understand that. And you know, Tai says, if the person you're talking with speaks your language, but you're using words they don't understand, you're not communicating. And he says, hearing and understanding are two different things. And just raising the volume doesn't make you any more effective. You see that all the time with people that are trying to explain something and they're getting frustrated when you don't understand it. So instead of restructuring their sentences, they just speak louder. And not only does that not communicate more clearly, but it's off-putting and makes you want to get away from that person. So we've all been offended or offended other people because there was a misunderstanding. You have to learn to raise and lower your voice, which Tai calls modulating. And you also need to learn to speed up or pause your delivery. and make complementary facial expressions and tones. This will help in your communication. Remember, if 80% of communication approximately is nonverbal, you must master that 80%. It's all a communication dance. And his questions at the end of this lesson are, what is the time when you took words too seriously? What is the time when words were more important than you thought? And what can you do today to become a better and more persuasive communicator with body language and tones? Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on review number 52. Take care.